Hello guys. I don't know. This video is a supplement to a 2-hour-long video where I completely explain the Minecraft 90% speedrun. I highly recommend watching that before you watch this because I'm not gonna have time to really explain everything that's happening, but here we go. To start off, I am basically primarily looking for a world that is next to the ocean. Most runs that are trying to be beaten in under 15 minutes, you're looking for either a shipwreck or a buried treasure because that's just like the fastest way to get all the items you need. In this case, I get a shipwreck, but the buried treasure is very close. Now, normally when speedrunners use buried treasure loot in order to do a speedrun, they're doing a trick called mapless, where you basically mess with the F3 menu and like using the pie chart and like chunk borders, super advanced tech in order to find a buried treasure without a map. But for this speedrun, I do map full. I don't even know, that's probably not even a term, but yeah, I use the map to find the buried treasure, which immediately puts me at a really slow pace. I mean, normally you can find a buried treasure in like 15 seconds. I'm a minute in, and I'm like not even making progress yet. I've just gotten my items. It's kind of crazy though that this ends up being my PB, because I had been trying to get this for like I'm not even joking, like 60 hours of like full-on grinding basically before I got this. And yeah, this is like one of the worst overworlds that I ended up going for. Normally I was like into the Nether by like within the next like 30 seconds. So the fact that I'm like this far behind, kind of crazy that I kept this run going, but obviously glad that I did. I mean, I just got to stop here and say, look at how clean the crafting is. I've never been particularly good at like fine motor movement in Minecraft, so it's like, yeah, I mean, when you practice for that many hours, the ability to craft quickly really starts to show itself. But yeah, we are finally leaving the island to go out to sea, because another really crazy thing that a lot of these fast runs do is they make a nether portal underwater. They don't do it normally like at a lava pool. They do it at a magma ravine, and that is what I'm currently looking for. I'm kind of trying to follow the kelp that's floating on the surface to see if a magma ravine kind of broke the floor and caused that. All of the kelp you see, though, completely fake. A lot of the time, magma ravines actually don't cause kelp to break, and sometimes it just, you know, you just have to get lucky anyways. I ended up finding one really fast, though, so, like, basically a bunch of time saved just to not spend, like, a minute boating around. I'm now getting my flint to make a flint and steel, and I'm just so unlucky with getting flint, I swear. I think my record is like 45 gravel blocks before I got flint. Someone's got to tell me the odds of that in the comments, because it has to be ridiculous. But yeah, I basically just do a very straightforward L-shaped setup for the magma ravine portal. It's very easy. I think I just like spent like 30 minutes practicing, and you're able to build a portal in 10 seconds. Kind of messed it up at the end though, gonna be honest. But yeah, we're heading in sub 3. So like, even though I had a really slow start getting my loot, a sub 3 is still very good. I think I was averaging like sub 3s with the occasional sub 2 at this point. Looking for the Bastion. I'm currently looking for where the E number on the F3 menu spikes. In that direction, it was 49 at an FOV of 30. So there is for sure a Bastion over that way. But the terrain generation's a little bit bad. I'm pretty sure I was able to see the Bastion at that point, but I have to go around because there is kind of just the lava ocean in the way. But to be fair, this is not the worst world generation I've ever seen. There were times that I had to bridge like over a stack of blocks in order to get to the Bastion, so like being able to just walk casually through this Crimson Forest, I will take that any day of the week. This is honestly really good at this point. Like I in my mind, the overworld was kind of like a little bit below average, but I'm now making up a lot of time because of this nav to the Bastion, because sometimes you have to travel a bunch of chunks. Like I think I was basically, as long as there's a Bastion within 32 chunks, I was kind of sending it. But yeah, there is a bit of a gap here that I have to clear, so I end up using a boat, and you are about to see maybe the craziest thing ever that could have ended the run. I was within 1 block of just falling into the lava. I don't know why I sent that without like shifting out of the boat to cause it to stall in the air. But yeah, we are now at the Bastion. Honestly, really good nav. Like, even though that was a really risky boat maneuver for no reason, it got me across the lava really quickly. A Bastion enter in under 5 minutes, kind of at this point where I'm going for a sub 15, is really good. As long as I'm out of the Bastion within 2 to 3 minutes, I am on great pace at that point for a sub 15. Now, to be clear, The Bastion split is where most runs like ended for me at this point. So it's like I wasn't really too worried. I mean, I had gotten a bunch of runs up to this point where it was like a sub 5 Bastion enter, but just so many things can go wrong. The nice thing about this run, though, is that I am routing a housing bastion, which in my experience and what I've seen from most people that speedrun, housing is the most consistent because I think you have just a lot of chests always, and there's always a lot of gold. Usually, most of the routes give you a lot of piglins. So yeah, I always, like when I get a housing, it's like my highest chance of getting through. However, if you didn't notice, I was doing a little bit of navigation to find the Nether fortress with the pie chart and increasing my render distance to see how far it was. I got up to 30 chunks and there was no Nether fortress. So like at this point, yeah, like look, I'm at 32 and the like just there, the spawner came in. So like at this point, I'm like, okay, the run's dead because traveling 32 chunks to the fortress is just super unlucky, just because that's just like so much time loss, and then you're gonna be blinding to find the stronghold at like an unoptimal place, like probably second or third ring. But I found out that it was that way. I hang a pearl so that I can basically teleport instantly out of the bastion just by raising my render distance again, which is actually a good thing to do on housing specifically because your trade hole's kind of like buried inside the bastion, so like you kind of have to walk out in order to actually pearl. That's kind of the best case scenario. I was starting to get confident at just opening the chests and dropping gold so that the piglins would get distracted instead of mining like 8 blocks in order to block off the eyesight, which is a surprisingly good time save. But yeah, at this point, I am going back down to check on my trades from the piglins. It's only 6 minutes in, so like kind of insane pace. I have the string, I have the pearls, I have the fire res, and I'm 5 short on the obsidian right now. That's the only thing I'm waiting on. The second I get the obsidian, I can leave. And as long as I navigate and get to the fortress quickly, I could still be looking at a fast time. But at this point, I'm basically banking on getting really lucky with the stronghold because the further out you go and like the further away you have to travel for each of the rings, the less likelihood of like the stronghold being like that close. Because like when you're that far away, there's like a chance of like the stronghold just being thousands of blocks away, and then it just kind of becomes a bit of an issue. But yeah, I'm currently waiting. I just got the obsidian. I splash fire res just in case, and now we are heading out. 7 minutes in, and I'm heading out to the fortress. That's an insane time for me out of a bastion because like again, there's just like I don't know if I've experienced like weirdly unlucky situations with bastions, but like if you watched my full video on the main channel, you know that Bastions was like my Achilles heel in a sense. But yeah, at this point, I'm starting to lock in. Out of all the runs I did, I think probably only like 5 to 10% made it successfully out of the Bastion at a good pace like this. So like by this point, I'm like no longer like listening to music loudly. I'm not singing the music. I'm like actually both headphones on. I'm engaged. I like could not have asked for better terrain to the fortress. Like even though it's 32 chunks isn't actually that bad as long as you're getting like baby fed the greatest terrain of all time. I mean, look at this. I'm just walking. I'm just like this is a nice day in the park. I've seen the worst terrain ever. You know, you haven't seen bad terrain until you play thousands and thousands of random seeds. Like this could not have been better for me. 8 minutes, I'm at the fortress. To be clear, this is one of the fastest paces I had ever been on at this point. I think this is probably like third or second best. Getting to the fortress before 10 minutes is huge. I mean, that basically means that as long as you get a good stronghold and end split, you could be looking very reasonably at a sub 15. The other really nice thing about getting to the fortress before 10 minutes is that when you blind to do your triangulation to find the stronghold, it will not be nighttime, which is so nice. It's so hard to be that fast. Like I'm exiting the portal only 1 minute before the sun sets, and this is like the most insane pace ever. But yeah, triangulating for the stronghold is so much easier when you're not trying to not die from like 18 zombies. But yeah, the run is still on the line at this point because I am like thousands of blocks out. I was 500 away in the Nether, so like what would that be? 4,000 in the Overworld. So the stronghold needed to be close at this point because I think I was at second ring or something. I'm measuring my second eye. I am getting very excited because the 60% of 530 blocks away is insane. Second eye measure, 536 blocks away. At this point, yeah, I was starting to feel the nerves. I'm pretty decent, I guess, at like mitigating that. But yeah, at this point, basically, other than like the dragon perching, most of the run is up to me. Most notably, getting from your first portal to your second portal so that you land inside the stronghold. That nav to get to your second portal is actually really important. You'll see a lot of top players like just hit these perfect pearls in order to get to their second portal. And I was pretty inconsistent at this point, but right now, just currently waiting on more blazes. I actually have no idea how many blaze rods I have, but I obviously need more. So currently waiting around. I am basically figuring out exactly the direction I need to go in to get to my second portal. Just having a little Minecraft Let's Play mode right now, just like mining up the blocks. This is another thing you can't really control. This is just RNG, just fun mode, just waiting for the blazes to spawn. Not much you can do, to be honest. But yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to focus up. I'm trying to breathe. 10 minutes in, I could be looking at the final blaze rod I need off of this spawn of 4. If I remember correctly, at this point, I only had enough blaze powder for 10 Eyes of Ender, which you can send, but the chances of the portal already having 2 is not very high. So I consider sending it, but I end up turning back because it's like barely about to be 11 minutes, but I hear more blazes spawn. So I end up just, yeah, like I waste like 10 seconds, but now I'm guaranteed to get the portal opened 11 minutes in. I know that the portal is down there, and I have fire res. At this point, I'm pretty certain that I'm gonna have to build the portal in the lava, so I send my second portal down. The nice thing about building your portal in the lava is that you're guaranteed to spawn underground just because of how low you already are, instead of having to mine down. So that's pretty nice. I missed the second portal by a bit. Like I said, I'm not very consistent at that yet. But yeah, 11 and a half minutes in, and I'm building my second portal. I've done really well with the terrain I've been given. I've honestly gone very fast compared to my average runtime, and I am only going to have like 3.5 minutes to beat the game to get a sub 15. Getting a sub 15 is so hard. At this point, I'm switching the pie chart back in order to do preemptive, but I don't spawn in the Stronghold start room. I'm freaking out at this point because I think this is like the fastest I had ever made it to the Stronghold, and like the portal just didn't happen. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm just starting to make dumb mistakes. Like I'm doing preemptive not in the starter room, which usually does not work very well. I realized that, luckily. And at this point, I don't know why I went that way, actually. That was like the worst thing ever. But I think what am I doing? Okay, I don't know. I'm watching this back for the first time. This is actually painful. What I should be doing is like following the inset doors back to the start. It's a bit of a time loss, but it's like, it's the most consistent thing I should have done, but I was like freaking out at this point. So I'm just like, I'm going everywhere. I am the world's luckiest man. I want it to be known. I don't know how I ended up finding the portal room that fast. Also, very lucky that I ended up going for the final blaze rod, because if I didn't, I would not have been able to open the end portal. There just was not any eyes, actually, so pretty unlucky on that regard. But into the end, 12 and a half minutes in. I think this is the same pace as the other sub 15 that I almost got, but I didn't have the wood. This time I did, and it's actually funny, ever since that run where I was into the end at like 12 minutes and didn't have the wood planks for the beds, I've like I've made it my mission to make sure that like I am always thinking about that. Like inventory management is such an important part of the Minecraft 90% speedrun. It's something you have to be aware of all the time. It's incredibly valuable to get good at that. It's insane. But like that was like a major teaching moment for me to just be more aware. And yeah, at this point, I'm just waiting for the dragon to perch. I have 2 minutes. I think from the dragon perching to dying and like opening the end portal is like 30 seconds. So I have like a minute at this point. So I'm just waiting. It's all up to the RNG gods. And I'm giving it. Wait, look at that right there. The dragon snap. I'm freaking out. Dragon's on the other side. Do a switch around. And boom, dude. And honestly, I'm kind of sad. I almost got a 4-bed. Just barely. I mean, it was like 1 HP. It was like 1 HP that I didn't. It was so close. I should have just spammed the second bed. Probably would have saved like a whole second, but it doesn't matter. Okay, that's just like grasping at straws at that point. 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Kind of crazy. This run, to be clear, happened like 6 months ago now. So if my commentary was a little bit like reactive instead of just talking about it, that's because a lot of that I have not watched in a very long time. But I'm getting back into speedrunning, to be clear. I haven't done it for a while because I've been working on the main channel video, the Goliath, but I'm going to be doing more speedrunning because it kind of acts as like free background footage for commentaries, and I really want to get another PB, honestly. Editing the main channel video has made me really want to speedrun again because, to be honest, I actually like learned even more working on that video just because I wanted it to be as thorough as possible. I'm yapping. Okay, I need to shut up. Yeah, that's it. Bye.